back, everyone. So in this video, we're going to deploy the application to Vercel, which is the same company that created Next.js. So we're going to use their infrastructure to deploy our application as well. First thing we got to do is to make sure our application is running fine, that there's no errors, it's not crashing, and our application is good to go at the moment. So just have a quick check before we deploy in case you did something different. Just fix whatever errors you might have, and then you should be pushing all your code to GitHub. So on your GitHub page, you should have all the code. So make sure you check the status, add all the code, and push it to a GitHub repo, because we're going to connect to the repo where we're storing the code in order to deploy our application from there. Next step will be to sign up to Vercel. So you can go to vercel.com/signup and you can create a new account. I have an account on another tab, but I'm going to try to follow the steps here a little bit so you can see how to sign up. So you can click on here, you can put your name, click continue, and you can sign up with your GitHub account. So you can click on sign up on GitHub, and then you will authorize the application to log in with GitHub. I'm going to, I think I can continue here just to see what's the next page here. I just have two different accounts. Let me see how far I can get with this one, and then I switch to my other account. So just give it a second. Right now it's probably creating your account and your infrastructure as well. So it might take a minute or two in order to complete everything. Okay, so now is done creating the account. Now we are going to build something together. If you already sign up with your GitHub, you can click install here, and this will install Vercel into your GitHub account. So click on your GitHub account there, and then you can leave all repositories, or you can select specific repositories if you want, but I'm just gonna leave it in this option here, so that way I can deploy any future application as well. So I'm gonna click on install, and if you have MFA or two-factor authenticator, it might ask you for a code here, and you need to enter the code and click verify. Okay, cool. So now I have entered my code and I clicked on verify. So now I'm not going to deploy using this account. I just wanted to go through the steps so you can see how to sign up and authorize Vercel to look at your repos and to allow you to install the tools that you need. But now that we're here, you should be able to see all your different repos, and you will be able to import the code from the repo that you want. So I'm going to drag another tab over here so I can continue here, because I have the repo that we're using. I have that one in a different account. So if you can see, this is the repo that I push all the code, and then I'm going to just select it here. So I'm going to click on import, and you can configure the project name. It will take the name of the repo by default. You can change the name if you want. We're using Nextjs, the root directory. The path is fine. We can leave it like that. And then we're going to scroll a little bit down here. And where we have the environment variables, we need to add all the different environment variables that we have in the application. So if I make this a little bit smaller here, and then in the VS Code, if I go to my .env here, you will see that we have a few environment variables. So the environment variables here, we're going to copy the ones that are here. Just gonna do one by one so you don't miss anything. But there's a way to just paste everything at once. But I'm gonna copy the MongoDB underscore URI name in here without the equal signs. So it's gonna look just like this. Make sure you don't add spaces at the end or anything like that. And then at the moment in our local app, we're using the local MongoDB database. But now in production, or when we deploy here, we want to use the cloud-based database. So go to your MongoDB Atlas app on the browser, and then you're going to go to the overview, and in overview you will find connect. If you click on connect, you're going to click on the compass option here, so you can get the URL to your cloud-based database. So we're going to copy that, and we need to bring that one into the value for the MongoDB URI. So we're going to paste it here, and then don't forget to update your password right over here. I will update that a little bit later. So just click on add, and that will be added here. But remember to replace this with your actual password from the Atlas account. Then we're going to grab the values that are here of zero secret. So I'm going to copy this here, and I'm going to paste it here. Again, make sure there's no spaces at the end. And the value, we're going to grab everything from inside of the quotes, and then we're going to paste it here. Make sure you don't grab any extra spaces, any extra characters, because we need those values to be exactly the same. Then I'm going to do the same with the other values here. I'm going to copy this, and this is the auth0 base URL. And right now I'm going to just set it to this, but we're going to have to come back and update that a little bit later. I'm just filling everything out just like we have it in here. And let me make sure I grab everything exactly the same. And double check the names. I'm missing an A up here, and then the value. And again, these are all private information. So I'm showing it here, but I'll delete this as soon as I'm done. Click on add, and then we have the client ID here. And copy the client ID. And then the auth0 client secret. Oops, forgot to click on add. And finally, this value here. Cool. So now I'll click on add. I just have to update my password here. So I'm going to click on deploy. And this might take a few minutes in order to deploy everything. So we're just going to see if everything goes well. It's in the building stage, so it's going to install all the dependencies. And when that's done, we'll see the results at the bottom. So I'm going to pause here and come back when this is done. So right now, the building process failed. So if something failed also during your deployment, you will see the same message. So if this happened now in the future, you have to just open this up, and you're going to see the log of everything that was happening. You can see all the steps that it was taking in order to deploy. And then in here, when it was trying to compile, there's a type error here somewhere in the header component, line 31. And it's pointing here to the image. I think we had a error here before. So let's go to the components, header component. And if we scroll down to line 31, we can see that here. And we can see the error type string or no, undefined is not assignable to string static import. Okay, so if you get in the same error, we have to fix this error and then try to redeploy the application again. So this error right now is telling us that we are assigning a value to src of something that could be that needs to be a string, or it could be null. So right now TypeScript is throwing this error and is stopping our application from deploying. We know, or we expect, that if we do have a user, we should have a picture that is going to be generated. So we could try to just use the no or not no operator or an assertion just to do a exclamation at the end and try to save it. And then we're gonna have to add everything again. So I'm gonna stop my terminal and I'm gonna do a git add. Let me make sure I'm in the right branch here. So let me go to the main branch. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's do a git dot git commit -m. Let's say fix no image error, and then git checkout main, and then git pull, and then cool, and then here exclamation git add git commit. Let me run the same commit and git push. All right, so let's say we fix the error. Now we push again back in the application. Let me see if it's going to start redeployment automatically or we need to trigger a new one. In here, let's inspect deployment and let's do a redeploy here and just click redeploy. Now let's wait for this. See if this time we are going to be able to deploy. So right now it's building the application. I'm gonna pause here and see what happens next. Okay, looks like it's still failing. So if I scroll down here, still pointed to the same error. It could be that it's not looking, is using the previous code because I don't see the exclamation by the end of picture here. So let's try to redeploy now and make sure it uses the latest source code from the application. So let's see where we need to go next. So back in deployment, if we see the redeploy here, we could click redeploy, but here it says that we are about to create a new deployment with the same source code as the current development, but with the newest configuration. So maybe if we cancel this and we head back to our application here, and let's see if we have an option to redeploy from a clean slate. Okay, the easiest way to do this will be to back in the deployment, click on the 3 dots and let's try to delete the deployment here. And then we're going to go back to deployments, and we're going to initialize a new deployment here. So in the project, we have no active deployments. So we're going to go right here again, and we're going to go, and where is this button for redeployment? Back into deployments in here. Let's continue deleting this here. So we have redeploy, or we could, let's see the source code here. Let's take a quick look at the components, header, image. So no, not this one. Let's go back to deployments and try to delete this one. Go back to deployments, click on this one, delete this one also. Deployments, we got one more, and let's delete this one as well, because all of these fail. All right, so in here we have no deployments now. We need to make a new push to the deployment in order for this to trigger a new deployment. So let's add back to in here. Let's just do a quick update here. Let's just delete some of the extra space that I have here, save, and then do a quick get status. Okay, so we modify this here. So we say git added dot again, git commit -m, deleted some white space just to make a quick change, and then git push again. Push the code, and then this is retriggering a new build. So let's see if now finally we get to deploy the application, because when we did the first change, it didn't trigger a new deployment, even though we did push the changes that we did in line 30. So let's wait here to see if finally we can deploy the application. Okay, I got another error. So in here, it failed one more time. So you might see this error as well. So if I scroll down, it's telling me that the Mongo server is throwing a bad auth. So you might get this error if you forgot to update your password on the MongoDB URI, or if you inserted the wrong password as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into the application here, go to settings, and then go to environment variables here. And then we need to update the MongoDB URI in here and update the password in here. So click here and click edit. And then I'm going to add my password and hit save. All right, so the password is updated here, updated just now. Go back to deployments. And then we're going to redeploy here. So this time we don't need to make any push to the main branch, because this is something that we just changed in our environment variables, and we're gonna have to come back to update of one more environment variable as soon as we deploy the application. So I'm gonna pause it here and see what happens next. All right, application is deployed. Congratulations. So we finally got the app deployed. So we can click here to visit the page, and it will show us the page in our live link here. Let me just show you around really quick. So in here, as soon as you deploy, you get some domains. You get the domain here with the name that you selected. I just left the name from the repo. You can open this in a separate tab, and you can go to your page. right? I think you can rename it if you want to change the name. Should be in the settings somewhere. But now that we actually have a actual domain name here, I'm gonna copy that domain name because we need to update our callback inside of the Auth0 dashboard. We need to go back and update because remember we put the localhost 3000 when we were developing the application. Now we need to update that with the new domain. So let's go back to, let me put this to the side here. Let's go to Auth0 and go back to your applications. Let me just make sure we are in the right app. Yes. So back in Auth0, in your members app, we're going to go to settings, and in settings, we're going to scroll down and we need to update the localhost 3000 here to the domain that the domain name that we got from our Auth0, not Auth0, but the next Vercel domain name. Sorry. So here we're just gonna paste it, and make sure you only have one / here. So it should read with the name of your app, that app / API / auth / callback, and then here we're gonna paste it in here as well. So make sure you don't have any extra spaces at the end or any extra spaces at the end. So we need to update the allow callbacks URL and the allow logout URLs. And then we're just gonna click save. And then we're going to scroll up and let's click on quick start because it's gonna prompt us again to save and hit save. Cool. So now Auth0 knows about the new URL of our application, our live URL. Now, the only thing we need to do here is that we need to go back to Auth0 here, Vercel, and then we're gonna go into, let's click on the app here. Let's click on settings, and we're gonna find the environment variables again. And then we're gonna scroll down and we're gonna find the Auth0 user base URL, or no, this one, Auth0 base URL. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, the one that says localhost 3000. We need to update this to our deploy URL, and then we're going to hit save because remember this is the URL that we are authorizing Auth0 to use. So now we have to change that because we are deploy in Vercel. So in here, I think we're all done. Now let's go back to the app in the deploy app, and then let's hit a refresh. This changes should only take like 30 seconds, so everything should be good now. So let's bring this up. Let's click on, let's try login first. And right now we're getting this error here. So this error is when the callback is a mismatch. So it looks like we still got to give it a few more minutes. I'm going to close this tab and I'm going to go back to my project here, and I'm going to reopen this here, and I'm going to try to click login again, and it's still not ready. Let's go back here. This usually takes a few seconds, but it might take a little bit longer. So close that tab. And then, oh, you know what we got to do? We have to redeploy because we updated the environment variables. That's why. So in here, let's go to deployments. Let's click here and let's click redeploy. Now it's going to work. Forgot to redeploy. So every time you update your environment variables, you need to redeploy. So that way everything gets updated. So we're gonna wait here again. It should be quicker than before because we didn't change any of the code. We just changed the environment variables. So it should only take a few seconds or a minute. Okay, so it still took a good almost 2 minutes, 1 minute and 38 seconds, but now it redeployed the application. The main name is still the same, so we could go and open this up in a new tab, and we can go there and click on login. And now we get redirected to the Auth0 endpoint, or application. So here, let's go back and test the sign up. Make sure it takes us to the right place. There we go. Let's sign up a new user. Let's just do test user and then do 007 and password. Some password here just to test it out. Click continue. And then we're logged in. We're back in here. We're at the members page. Right now, we don't see any members. That is because we are connecting to the MongoDB cloud-based application, not to our local ones. The members that we created before were in the local DB. This one is connected to the cloud DB or database. But if you go and create a new one, you should be able to, we need to navigate back to home. And right now, it looks like we got a little bit of a bug here. If I click create, it keeps redirecting me to, except for here. If I go to members, it goes to member login. Oops, go back here, go back to home, create. Okay, so let's do a new member, Sam, and then avatar. Let me see if we can grab a quick avatar from the code. So back in the DB here, if we remember the index, we have some avatars here, so let's just grab one of these and give it back to the application. And where did it go? Right here. If we put it in this one, hit create. And now we got our member. Now we are done. If we go back to, it's not logged in, but it's because we had a little error there when we were refreshing the page. But now we should be able to log in. Is this logging in? Yes, so let's log in with user, this user or test user 007 at test.com, I think it was, and then password 1 exclamation. Cool, so we get redirected to members, and members, I don't see any members again. Unless if we hit create, we get redirected. So it looks like we got a little bit of a bug here. Let's see if we can fix it. And I believe the problem is coming from the redirect. So the redirect is happening back into our headers in here. So if we got a user, we redirect. And this is because it's in the header. Okay, cool. So let's see how we can fix this one. So let's run the application in our local server. So we're gonna do npm run dev. So that way we fix anything we need to do here. And then we'll push the code and try to redeploy. So let me open a new tab and go to localhost 3000. So we run the application locally to try to solve the bug that we encounter here. So let's see what happens in here. Okay, this is the local database. It's taking us to members. So we click on create. Here's navigating well. About, yeah, I didn't see this happening back. And when we, that's weird. Let's see back into this here. Create members. And let's see, let me double check the code. So let's do a quick test. In here, if we do have a return keyword here, and we navigate, okay, this doesn't get rendered. Okay, so let's remove that there, that's fine. We hit create, we go back to here, click on one of the members, we go there. Cool. All right, so this is fine. Let's see where else we can look. So I have a quick idea of something that we can add here to make sure that it only redirects the user if they are at the home page. So not when we go to create or about, just to test if this is what's causing the bug. So at the top here, let's import. And I think this is going to be imported from the same here. So let's do usePathname. And then let's initialize current path equals usePathname. And let's have a console log of the path name as well, or the path. Okay, so let's check the console log. Let's check here, console, and we're at the / members now. So if we go to, let's say we log out, we're back in / that's the path, so that's the main route. So we could add a if user in here, and path is equals to / then redirect. Now let's close this up, and then we're gonna go and log in again. And right now we cannot log in because we changed something here for the login. Yeah, we changed the, it doesn't look back to localhost 3000. Should have left localhost 3000 in there as well, so that way we could avoid making so many changes. So let's do that, because if we need to come back and keep working on the app and test the login and everything else, it's gonna be painful to go back and forth. So if we go to let me see, let's go to Auth0 again. So where do we have this here? Somewhere. I think is, let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's right here, Auth0, and then let's go to settings, and let's leave, put a comma here, and leave the localhost 3000. So let's make sure we put that back in there. That was my mistake, because if we need to go back, we need to have that here. So comma, no space, paste in there, and then we're gonna put localhost here, and make sure we grab the / API of callback. And now save changes, and let's click on quick start, save changes, And now we can go back here. This is the one in localhost. This is also localhost. Let's try to log in. Then this is an old one. There we go. Now we're back in here. So let's do, let's just sign up another, no, I think I remember, test user 007 at test.com. And then we're gonna do password 1 exclamation and login. Cool. So we're here. What if we go to create about? Okay, navigation works here, but it was working before. But let's try to redeploy. So you're gonna have to do this all the time. You're gonna have to go back to your development environment, work on fixing something, adding a new feature. So you're gonna code whatever you need to fix, whatever you need to add, and then you're gonna stop the terminal. You're going to run git add and add everything that you change. Okay, commit -m. And what we did here, we checked the path to be the root before redirecting or something like that, and then git push. Now we can go back to Auth0, and that is in the other tab that I have open. So that one is right over here, and it should trigger redeploy because we push something. Let's go to deployments. We're back to the app here. Okay, there's a new deploy happening right now. So let's wait for this one. We can click on it and see if it goes well. So again, this is going to take about 1.5 minutes. So let's pause here. Okay, so this one took 1 minute and 28 seconds. So let's open this up again. Go to the app, log back in, and then let's do our test user 007, and then let's try to log in. We get redirected back, and we go to members, and now we only see one because again we are connected to the cloud database. Now if we go to create, there we go. Now we can see it. Cool. It says about here, members, create again, create a new member. I think we try to do Sam, and we did avatar, and hit create. There we go. We got 2. Finally, we're done. So you would normally, have to go through that. You have to fix a bug, add a feature, go back to the app, push again, redeploy. So this is a cycle that you're going to be going over and over. So right now we have deployed the application completely. We have fixed some bugs together, and we have redeployed multiple times and debugged the redeploy. So right now you feel like everything is completed, but now you're gonna sit here and you're probably gonna start working on something else, adding a new feature to your app. So now the app is yours. Make any changes that you want, and remember to add your code and push again and redeploy. Normally you gotta redeploy it after you push, but if it doesn't redeploy automatically, you know what to do now. So sorry for the long video, but I think this is a good practice for you to see and to help you be a better developer as well. So that's the end for the video for this video. I hope you like this video, and I will see you on the next one for a brand new project. Have a good one.